What if everything you've achieved was never meant for you? What if the life you've built so carefully is the reason you feel so empty? Carl Jung observed a phenomenon throughout his career. People who had everything: success, relationships, security, the perfect life on paper, yet felt a hollow ache inside, a quiet despair, a sense that something essential was missing. Jung called it soul loss. He understood something most psychologists miss. We are not just thoughts and behaviors. We carry something deeper, something sacred: the soul. When we live disconnected from that essence, when we build lives that look successful but feel meaningless, the soul withdraws. What remains is a shell moving through motions, achieving goals, feeling nothing. If you've ever felt empty despite having everything you thought you wanted, this isn't a sign something is wrong with you. It's your soul calling you back. Let me tell you about Anna. 30-4. Marketing director at a prestigious firm. 6-figure salary. Beautiful city apartment. Loving partner. Admiring friends. On Instagram her life looked perfect and she knew it should feel perfect. But every morning the alarm brought a weight in her chest. Dread she couldn't name. She'd stare at the ceiling thinking, is this it? Days passed on autopilot. Meetings, emails, dinners, conversations that felt hollow. She smiled when expected, laughed on cue. Inside nothing. At night she sat in the dark wondering why joy had vanished. Why she felt like a stranger watching someone else's life. She tried therapy, medication, exercise, meditation, self-help books. Nothing touched the emptiness. Anna wasn't clinically depressed. She had lost her soul. Jung meant soul loss literally. The soul is your deepest center, authentic desires, true calling, unique essence. It is not ego, not social identity, not roles. It is older, wiser, more real. The soul needs meaning, authenticity, creative expression, connection beyond the material. When those needs are ignored too long, when life is built only on external expectations, what society values, what parents wanted, what looks impressive, the soul retreats, not as punishment, but self-preservation. It cannot survive in a life it was never meant to live. How much of your life did you truly choose? How much came from the voice of should? I should be successful. I should have this career. I should want this lifestyle. I should be happy with what I have. The soul doesn't speak in shoulds. It speaks in whispers, longings, and the quiet voice saying, this isn't it. There's more. Modern life, obsessed with achievement and status, creates perfect conditions for soul loss. We climb ladders we never wanted, chase goals that were never ours, become people we were never meant to be. Then we reach the top and feel nothing. A wealthy self-made businessman in his late 40s came to Jung with a recurring dream. He stood in a vast, empty mansion, every room beautifully decorated, but silent. No life, no warmth. He searched room after room and never found what he was looking for. Waking with tears he couldn't explain, Jung asked one question. When was the last time you did something with no practical purpose, something that brought joy for its own sake? The man couldn't remember. When you were young, Jung continued, what made you feel alive? I used to paint, the man whispered. I loved it, but it wasn't practical, so I stopped. And when you stopped, what did you feel? Nothing. I thought that was growing up. It wasn't growing up. It was soul loss. He had sacrificed meaning and beauty for achievement. He succeeded so completely at the sacrifice he didn't notice what he'd lost until his soul screamed through dreams, through the empty rooms, through the unbearable weight of having everything and feeling nothing. Jung called it the inner collar pull, a restlessness that won't leave no matter how much you accomplish. It's your soul trying to guide you home. Most ignore the call because answering it is terrifying. It demands admitting the life that looks perfect might not be yours. So they numb it with work, distractions, substances, scrolling, shopping, relationships that fill time, but not emptiness. They stay busy because stillness brings the ache, the void, the desperate knowing something is profoundly wrong. But emptiness is not the problem, it's the solution breaking through. Your soul saying, stop, remember who you are. What dream did you bury because it seemed impractical? What part of yourself did you lock away because it didn't fit who you're supposed to be? That's where your soul waits, in longings you called childish, in the life you wanted before you were taught to want something else. Jung named the journey individuation, becoming who you truly are instead of who you were conditioned to be. Individuation is painful. It often means dismantling the life you built. Admitting societal success can be soul failure. It means risking comfort for something real. Few choose it. They prefer emptiness that looks good over aliveness that looks strange. A corporate lawyer on partner track spent every lunch break in a public garden. For 20 minutes among flowers and trees she felt peace, something she never felt in court. One day she realized she looked forward to those 20 minutes more than her career. A question crept in. What if I'm living the wrong life? She ignored it until the question grew too loud. One day, in a meeting about a case she didn't care about, something inside her broke open. 3 months later she quit, studied horticulture, began working at a botanical garden for a fraction of her old salary. Family thought she'd lost her mind. Colleagues whispered about her breakdown. Years later she said, I didn't lose my mind, I found my soul. And once you find it, you can never go back to pretending. Success can be a shadow. We think success is always good, but the things we achieve can become prisons if unaligned with who we are. You can be successful and soulless, reach the top of the wrong wall, win a game you never wanted. Society celebrates you. Promotions, admiration, everyone says how well you're doing. You smile, nod, and feel dead inside. External validation cannot fill internal emptiness. Applause cannot replace purpose. Jung saw countless people who had everything society promised and felt like dying, then felt guilty for it. That guilt keeps them trapped in slow suffocation. Feeling empty despite a good life is not ingratitude. It is your soul refusing a counterfeit existence. Are you brave enough to listen? Listening means deep transformation. It might mean leaving the career you invested in, ending the perfect relationship, disappointing people with expectations. It might mean starting over, looking foolish, walking away from security for something you can't explain because it lives in a language only your soul speaks. That's terrifying. But the alternative is worse. Living your entire life as a stranger to yourself, arriving at the end realizing you never lived it. How do you reconnect? You don't search outward. You go inward into silence you filled with noise, feelings you numbed, dreams you dismissed. Your soul lives in the parts of you that don't make sense to others, and the longing with no logical explanation, in what you loved as a child before the world taught you what to want. It lives in your shadow, your wounds, your darkness. The path requires you to stop running, achieving, pretending, and be still long enough to hear what's been calling you. It doesn't always mean blowing up your life tomorrow. Sometimes it's quiet, making space for what brings you alive, honoring the ignored part, allowing yourself to want what you actually want, grieving years lived for others, forgiving detours, trusting it's not too late, that your soul is still there, waiting to welcome you home the moment you return. Here's the twist that changes everything. Emptiness is not a void to fill. It's space that has been cleared of everything that isn't you. A false life, borrowed dreams, should-haves. Emptiness isn't the end. It's the beginning. Your soul saying, I've removed what doesn't belong. Now there's room for what does. Most panic and fill emptiness with anything. because it feels like death. But emptiness is rebirth, the blank canvas, the silence before the song. You're not broken. You're breaking open, free from a life never meant to be yours. Yes, it hurts. It feels like falling apart. But what if you're finally coming together? What if the person you've been is dissolving so the person you're meant to be can emerge? What if this emptiness is the most sacred thing you've ever felt, proof your soul hasn't given up, is still calling, still waiting? All it needs is for you to stop, to listen, to answer. If something inside you is stirring right now, something you haven't felt in years, that's recognition. Soul recognizing truth. You found this because some part of you is ready to stop pretending, stop settling, ready to remember who you were before the world told you who to be. Most will choose the comfort of emptiness over the uncertainty of truth. But you're still here. That means you feel the call, can't ignore it anymore, are brave enough or tired enough to answer. The journey back might cost everything you thought you wanted, but it will give you the one thing you've been searching for, yourself. Welcome back. Your soul has been waiting, and if you seek truth within, you're already home.